Good morning, fellow Wolfpuppers. Today I'm going to show you a brief video of how to replace the factory stereo or head unit or whatever came with your camper. This is a 2018 Wolfpup FQ, 16 FQ. Ours came with just the Furion AM/FM receiver, no DVD player, no other devices. So it's this unit here. I've already removed it. If you're going to remove this faceplate just pulls off on the lower section. Let me remove it and kind of show you. And then this, so this lower faceplate will pull off. There's a couple of clips, and then there'll be the two mounting screws, which will allow you to pull it forward. Okay. You can also take off the inside divider inside the cabinet. That'll give you access to the back of the stereo as well. Once you pull it out, you can disconnect the factory wiring harness. And I know there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people complain, you know, that the factory installed speakers don't sound right, or they think they're wired for mono. Really, nothing is actually wired for mono. They're stereo. So it's a stereo receiver. If you're not getting true sound, it's miswired. Where you may be getting, one speaker from the interior connected to one speaker to the exterior, or vice versa, or just poor connections. But once you do have it out, if you remove the connector off the back of the stereo, the wiring for mobile audio has a standard, and that standard is the 4 groupings of wire for the speakers are color-coded, and whether it be a car radio, marine audio, or even these radios, it's a standard. So your speakers, if you want to identify them, should be the gray pairing, the white pairing, the purple, and the green. Okay? There'll be 8 wires. So there'll be a solid gray, a gray with a black stripe, a solid white, a white with a black stripe, and so forth. Green, green with a black stripe, and purple with a black stripe. So that just sets polarity. And when we talk about speaker polarity, there really isn't like polarity like plus and minus on a battery, a DC battery, because with audio and speakers actually use an AC signal to produce sound. So when we make a connection to a speaker and we call it plus and minus, it's really for what we call phasing. So you could get it wrong, and actually there's no getting it wrong. You could put the minus on the plus on the minus, but as long as you did that for all 4 speakers, keep them the same. Okay, so whatever wire you put on the minus, so if you put the stripe wire on the minus terminals of your speakers, make sure you put all the stripe wires on all the speakers minus. If you use the solid, I use the solid as the plus, and I'll use the stripe as the minus, and I'll put those on the speaker terminals. But again, as long as you keep them all the same, it won't make a difference. With speakers and polarity, it's about phasing, which means when we send a signal to a speaker, we send an AC signal, which goes plus and then minus, plus, minus. That's what produces the sound. So when we send signal to it, as the signal goes plus, it pushes the cone, the speaker cone out, and as it goes negative, the cone comes back in, okay? And that produces sound. So what we want the speakers phase properly. So when the left channel or the left speaker is actually producing sound on the way out, we want the right channel producing sound on the way in. If you get the polarities wrong, you could have the speakers both coming out at the same time, and you get kind of cancellation effect of the audio. A true audiophile would be able to tell the difference. Normal people may, the normal layperson may not be able to tell, but that's what the plus and minus on speakers are. So you put them opposite, you're still going to get sound. It just may not be, a high fidelity sound. So keep them phased correctly. So whichever wire you use for the plus is fine, and whatever you use as the minus is fine, as long as you're consistent through all 4 speaker groupings, okay? So again, gray pairing, white pairing, purple and green are your speaker wires. So just separate those. We're going to make this real simple. Those are your 4 speakers. So the only thing you need to determine is which 2 are the interior and which 2 are the exterior. And I think that's where maybe they get these cross-wired and misconnected. So what I did is I removed my interior speakers. You can probably see this one hanging here. So this is an interior one. This one is the white wire. So this is a white pairing. Not to confuse you more, the wiring harness colors may not be the same wire colors they use to run through the camper. So when you pull this out and you have, let's say, the gray and the white pairing, because those ended up being, these are actually like zone A or zone B. So these I'm going to use the gray and the white as one set, and the purple and the green are the other. So that's how they're grouped. So gray and white would be zone A, or in a car radio, it may be the front speakers. Purple pairing and the green pairing would be the rear speakers, or in my case, are going to be the exterior speakers, okay? So the gray pairing and the white pairing, I'm using for the interior. So these were connected. When I cut them off, I look what colors were connected to the end of them. They had white and gray, so at least that one matched, and these are white and gray here. So this was one of my interior speakers. The gray wire should have been my other ones, and you can't see them here, but they end up using yellow. All right, so see, it didn't match, but I know the yellow and the yellow pairing is my other interior speaker, and that's going to go to the gray wires on this. Okay, so pretty simple. The other set of wires is strictly power. So red is going to be a 12 volts. It's got a fusion line. Black is going to be a ground. Okay, so just note what they have it connected to on the inside. In my camper, they use actually like a white with red as power, and the other plain white is just negative. But you can check that with a voltmeter. This is a blue wire. If blue wire, this is normally a standard use for power antenna. So if this was in a car and had a power antenna, when you turn the radio on, it would put 12 volts on this line and would turn the motor to turn the antenna up. You shut the radio off, 12 volts gets switched off, the antenna goes down. Not applicable in a camper, so not used. And again, this was the original from the Furrion. So basically, I cut the speaker wires off, attached them to the new radio. Which in my case, I did a little research. I wasn't going to go way high end, but I went with a Boss radio. You can see that model number. What was nice with this radio, it had two zones, zone A and zone B, so I can keep easy switching between the interior and the exterior speakers. I could have just have easily used a car radio. The only thing with a car radio, zone A and zone B would have really been front speakers and rear speakers. And in order for me to switch, I'd have to go into the menu and then use what we call a fader control to fade from the front to the rear. A little more of a hassle, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I really wanted something that had zone A, zone B. I can just press a button or a button on the remote and switch it. And fairly decent reviews for a car radio or RV radio. And this one was kind of adapted both for like audio and RV, because it comes with two different face plates, and it also came with two different mounting capabilities. So with the car radio, normally it comes with a metal sleeve that you would put in. The radio would slide into that sleeve and snap in. Okay. This one also came with little right angle brackets you can screw to the side of the radio and then slide in, and I'll show you. So you can mount it right to the front. You can mount it right to the front of the cabinet. So it made it real easy just to slide it in. Okay. And then, like I said, it had two face plates. It had one face plate if you were using it in the car. The face plate for the camper, it's a little bit oversized, so it's a little wider trim. It covers up the metal mounting brackets, which is nice. It does sound good. I've already turned it on. I do have new exterior speakers I put in a few weeks ago. I did post a video on those as far as replacing the outside speakers. I don't know if you've seen those, but I put Stinger Marine speakers in with remote control LED lighting. They came out great. They sound great. And again, those magnets on those speakers were much deeper than the original Wolfpup one. But we had to add like some spacer rings to give us more depth. If you haven't checked out those videos, look me up. You'll find those. In the interior speakers, I have not got yet. I ordered the Boss Marine speakers. Hopefully I got enough depth and they're going to fit in. Otherwise, I'd have to put adapters on this. The original speakers, just a single paper cone. Garbage. So hopefully I'll have those in a few days. Hope that's helped. If you have any questions, you know what? You can try direct. I don't have Facebook Messenger. You can try looking up Tracy Hall Russo on Facebook. She's my wife. You can direct message her. If you want to get a hold of me, I'd be happy to help anybody. My background is TV radio repair. I've been doing it since I was 15. I'm actually TV radio licensed. And so this stuff I'm comfortable with. It's second nature to me. And if I can help anybody out, I'll be glad to. last year I also had posted some, well, maybe a year and a half ago, how to change the outside antenna output into an input, because they didn't put a RF connection input, so if you're in the campground, you can't connect the cable to the camper. I turned my outside one into an input and then modified here, and if you look, I have actually two connectors on here now. One is so if you connect outside, it's actually cable comes from the outside and it goes down to my television here, and that's cable coming in from the campground. If I switch back to this terminal, I'm back on the regular antenna. So that was a little modification I did. There is a two-way splitter in there because the antenna also feeds the radio. So you have to be aware of that too. But if you haven't seen that, check out that video. You may find that helpful. The only other thing I didn't show as far as the radio install is the audio video connector. So depending what you have, for a media center, I know some people already had DVD player, CD player. The original Furion that I had did not. This new Boss little radio does have DVD, CD. So the audio video connections on the back would connect and would just transfer audio video. I only have the RCA jack, so I would then connect RCA jacks to here, run them down. I chased my wires, actually drilled a hole in a hole so you can see them hanging here. If you decide to do that, just be careful. There is a bathroom exhaust vent pipe, PVC, that runs down here. So stay a good 6 inches away from the cabinet. I can feel the pipe in there. You should be okay if you want to hide your wires. You bring the hole down behind the television. Just clean looking. But I'll have to run a video cable here down through here for the television. So if I want to use the DVD player on the new head unit. Other than that, I think that's it. If you have any questions, again, comment, and I'll try to help out anybody that I can. Thanks for watching.